Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of 1911 Syndicate.
Thrilling.
Today we are talking about a QD can versus direct thread can on top of the Helios direct thread tie. So we got a lot going on today. We got a lot of information to cover. Before we dive into this, Jake, tell them what they need to know.
Basics, if you enjoy the channel, this is I'll make this very brief, guys. Making content as a gun content creator is difficult because we get so heavily regulated by the YouTubes and all the different stuff. So the channels that you enjoy, whether it's us, someone else, you should find a way to support them, whether that be Patreon, which of course we link like everyone else below, or in our case, a little bit unique because the 1911 Syndicate is a real estate company for dudes like you. And I say dudes confidently because it's about 99% male that watch this channel. So if you need real estate help, let us know. We operate, Chris is down in Arizona, I'm in Utah, but we got people all over the place. So if you need help, just let us know.
Yep. So let's jump into this. First thing we're going to do is talk about that suppressor. This is the Helios direct thread from CGS Group. Full disclosure, Bobby over at CGS sent these to us to review. I got these cans through a buddy of mine down, my FFL down there in Arizona. Arizona Gun Lord is his handle. Mark is his name. Really helps me out a lot on the gun stuff that we need help on with suppressors and stuff like that. So thank you to both Bobby and Mark. We really appreciate you guys. And talking about Bobby, me and Bobby had a phone call, two phone calls, about an hour and change each, talking about this can as well as direct thread versus QD.
Yep.
Guys, there's a lot of information to cover. So this can is 6.375 inches long. I didn't just do 6.3 because I know you'd want that 375.
That's right? It's a good length.
It is diameter of 1.75 inches. That can weighs 12.2 ounces. And on a full length gun, 16-inch rifle, it feels like that can's not even there, in my opinion.
Yeah,
very wieldable.
I can't disagree with you, minus this thing being the longest fucking thing in the plant. Yeah, I agree.
You could even collapse that more, huh?
Yeah, well, no, that's money right there. Yeah, no, its balance is very, very nice.
Very, very nice. Grade 5 titanium with a DLC coating. They do 3D print these cans, so there's no seams or welds, which are kind of weak points in cans.
Sure.
As they heat up and cool down, sustained rate of fire, those seams and welds will pop.
No doubt.
Okay. One cool thing they do with this is they print, or they have your serial number in specific places. So if you do get a baffle strike, so it's on the side here, on other cans they'll have it at the bottom, like this Helios is at the bottom.
Yeah.
So if you do get a baffle strike, they can repair it without changing your serial number, so you don't got to wait another 9 months.
Yeah, totally. Which,
smart on them, right? Good for doing it. The biggest thing that they push with their cans is point of aim, point of impact shift, which we're going to get into.
Yeah.
They want repeatable point of aim, point of impact. So that means if I take this off because I need it to be a little shorter to throw in a rifle case and put it back on, my zero should not shift, okay? We're gonna get into that here in a bit, guys, on why that's very important. This also has something on the inside baffles that you can't find any information on it. It's a proprietary coating of theirs called S-line coating, but it's basically a coating on the baffles that helps it so like carbon and shit doesn't cake on there. It kind of sloughs off and will get shot out of the can.
That's cool.
Is the best way I understand it. And it's a proprietary coating. They don't have any information on it because it's their own thing.
Rock and roll.
So, and they don't even have like a process on how to do it because it's their proprietary thing.
Well, yeah, that's proprietary information.
Correct. They do on almost all their cans run a 30 cal end cap. Reason why is because that prevents baffle strike. It allows that shit to slough off of that S-line coating and go out the front, and they just work. I mean, a lot of cans do that. They'll do a 30 cal end cap or hole, even though it's a 5.56.
And you can swap that out.
Yeah, you can get the flashlight or all that kind of stuff. Yep. So going back to, that's just information on this can. This one we're going to do in the future. We're going to get into now direct thread versus this one, which is QD with the dead air chemo.
Yeah.
So little reason why we're doing this video, guys, is me and Jake were just kind of spitballing content, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, planning out, ahead the next 2 to 3 months. And we were like, you know what, we should do a direct thread versus QD.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the premise of this video came from.
Yeah, like Because I kind of wanted to know, since you had these cans, I was like, what's the case for direct thread? Because I feel like there's such resistance to it.
Yeah.
And I understand,
Yeah.
frankly.
Yeah.
I've talked to CGS dudes about it in terms of like, you know, just what the market sort of demands. But they really love direct thread. So I'm like, okay, cool, break it down for me. Like, make me a believer.
Yeah. My first phone call with Bobby was like, so I understand you're not the biggest fan of QD, and we'll get into all this information here in a bit, guys. And he's like, nope, fucking can't stand it. I was like, okay, tell me why.
Yeah.
And that's how the phone call started,
Yeah.
right? So one of the number one things, and this is my number one thing, but I think end users, guys that do cool shit, Bobby who knows cans and engineers, the biggest thing with cans is point of aim, point of impact shift. So basically you zero a rifle without a can on, you then throw the can on and you will have that zero shift.
Yeah, because you added weight to the end of a gun.
As well as what else?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you, Jake. So there's something called barrel harmonics. What that means,
I was not going to get that. We could have waited here all day. I was not going to get that.
From my understanding, what it is as pressure and the round and everything's moving through the barrel, it's moving.
Okay.
Okay, so if you add weight on there, plus the movement of that, it'll throw off that point of aim, point of impact shift.
Interesting. It's almost like when you see like a sound wave and it's
Wah,
like,
wah, wah, wah,
yeah,
wah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you get ultra slow-mo of someone shooting an AR, I mean, the barrel literally, like you can see it move and flex.
Cool.
Yeah,
I've never seen that.
No, I have. You haven't. So why that's important too is if you're a cool guy doing cool shit, you break down this rifle, you got to put it together and go to work. Well, if your point of aim, point of impact shift isn't repeatable and it's a hostage rescue situation, your famous line, what happens?
Fuck that hostage.
Fuck that hostage, right? And we don't want that.
No,
okay?
we like, well, we don't like hostages. We don't endorse taking hostages. We like them to make it out is where I'm going with that.
Yeah. And a lot of this information as we start going over this, guys, is going to interweave and overlap as we go through kind of the information that I have. But that is the number one reason for direct thread. The reason why that's not as repeatable with QD, Jake, what do we got going on? Anything?
I don't know.
No?
Just,
Okay.
you know, a dog that, you know, thinks something's trying to kill us all the time. No,
Why that's important is something called concentricity. Break that down for me.
Oh boy, has to do with threads. I still don't really get it. It's an alignment issue. But there we go. That's my knowledge.
So the Webster Dictionary definition means quality of having the same center.
Well, I wasn't particularly close in
Not at all. You said it in like a not as intelligent way.
bro science version.
Correct. So basically what you have is the center of the barrel wants to match, you need it to match up with the center of the suppressor.
Of course.
Because if it's not, obviously, pressure, aim, all that stuff is going to get thrown off.
Yeah, and baffle strikes.
Baffle
and
strikes, all that stuff. And you can have concentricity be a little off and not get baffle strikes. The idea is you want it as inline, as close, as perfect as you can get.
Yeah.
Direct thread allows that because this is directly threaded, as it says in the title, to the barrel itself.
Okay.
Okay? When we start getting into QD, especially on, you know, this Helios QD titanium, uses the dead air chemo mount with their little collar here, has to thread into the can, and then the chemo threads into that collar.
Yeah.
So you're adding threads on the barrel to threads on the chemo, to threads on your muzzle device, to threads on the collar, to threads on the can.
Damn. Yeah.
It's a lot of threads.
I didn't really think about it like that.
Yeah.
Heavily threaded.
Heavily threaded, where this has one set of threads. Okay? Where this would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of threads.
Okay.
Okay? And I asked Bobby, well, like, I mean, threads are threads. Like, you can thread shit on, it'll stay there forever. He's like, true. But what we start getting into is there's a specific degree that threads have to be machined at. This is actually really cool. And I nerded out a little bit on this.
Okay.
There's a specific degree. Let me see if I can find it. I want to say it's like 12 degrees, where basically what it does is once that's threaded on, which is how he machines these, after it's shot and heated up and you go to take it off, a certain thread pitch will make it so you need 11 to 20% more torque to get it off than when you put it on.
Okay.
Why that's important is because QD obviously doesn't have that. But what you're having with those threads and all these pieces is that same thing. So you have threads on top of threads on top of threads,
Okay.
all trying to work together.
Right.
So it adds weight, concentricity gets thrown off. You could have like, maybe one set of threads, the quality control isn't as good as the other set.
Yeah.
So now you're not only getting threads that aren't perfectly in line, but you can imagine all the pressure, the gases, the cordite, the gunpowder is going to get caked in there.
Yeah.
And could cause some lockup issues, or just the can to not perform as well as it should.
Yeah, for those that don't know, so I mean, well, I mean, maybe this is blatantly obvious, or maybe you
go ahead.
said it and I was looking at a dog or something, but CGS doesn't make their own QD system. So if you're going to run a Helios or any of their cans in a QD fashion, you're going to have to use some aftermarket support. So they sent it with that collar that you could thread in chemo, or I'm pretty sure like Concentricity, ASR, or whatever. I don't know all what threads in there, but I know it's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I don't know if they'll make their own QD system in the future. My phone calls with Bobby, as it sounded like they probably are not going to. And he's like, one, I'm a fan of direct thread, which we're stating a case for it here. Two, he's like, there's 200 other fucking companies that do it, so why?
Yeah.
Why?
You also, if I'm skipping ahead, you can tell me to shut up, but you know, you also have to keep in mind too, with companies is, well, who is their end user? And you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, keep going. No, keep going.
So like CGS is pretty heavily catered to a professional working crowd. Heavy military roots, like awesome military roots. And so for those guys, they're like, I don't really give a shit about QD. Like, the can's on the gun, and that's how the gun lives.
Yeah.
Because I kick doors for a living.
Correct.
Shoot bad dudes in the face.
Yep. And if, again, as I said in the beginning, if I have to take this off, then I go somewhere, got to put it on and do some work, your point of aim, point of impact, the whole system's going to run a lot better and more reliable this way.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm with you thus
tracking.
far.
Good job.
Yeah,
good job, Jake. Another thing too, guys, is weight. And I am one guy that doesn't really complain about weight, obviously, being a fatty, but end users that do cool stuff, ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain is the saying, right?
Sure.
The collar and mounting system for this with your muzzle device, well, not only the muzzle device, but just the dead air chemo with their collar, the adapter collar, weighs as much as the can.
Yeah.
So
which of course wouldn't normally be the case, but since it's titanium, of course, it's hyper light.
But again, you're shaving weight with the titanium can, but still adding weight with the locking system.
Which is kind of a little bit of a catch-22.
Double entendre.
We got this thing, it's light as shit, but now we're gonna add weight to the back of it. It's like, why wouldn't I just want it light then?
Yeah. So then let's get into what's a pro of quick detach.
So here would be my case, right? Is this my opportunity to present I can litigate the QD case, which would be, here's where I don't even really see it's debatable, which is you go, most consumers don't have dedicated cans for dedicated guns. So you're like, look, I got one stamp and I need this shit to rotate on 5 different ARs, so they're all gonna have the same muzzle device and I can bounce the can around.
Yep.
That's my main argument.
Correct. My argument that will kick your argument in the dick is this. If I have 5 rifles that are all gonna run this can, you're telling me you're gonna memorize your point of aim, point of impact shift for all 5 rifles?
Of course not.
Okay, so I'm sorry, like, that's one strike for QD for me. I get it, like, look, I used to be all about QD, and then I've kind of, learned some information. We're gonna get into that here a little bit.
Okay, interesting.
But say I have 5 rifles all set up to run this can. Your point of aim, point of impact is gonna be different with every single one of those rifles.
Okay.
So unless you have a dope chart, like taped to your, hey, my BCM compared to my Knights, I need to hold 2 inches higher. My Knights, I need to hold 2 inches lower, right? So, right?
Interesting, sure.
So interesting point.
If it's a gun that you, quote, depend your life on.
Correct.
It's like, well, if you depend your life on it, that would imply you are shooting against an opposing force. You better know where that round's going.
Exactly.
Or you got a giant liability problem on your hands.
Or you're in a self-defense situation. You forgot the holdover for that specific rifle. You thought it was another rifle.
Yeah.
And again, what happens to the hostage?
Fuck that
Fuck
guy.
that hostage.
Yeah.
Okay. He also has a really big problem with quick detach.
Okay.
So it should be switched, quick attach. Okay? Because whenever, in any way, shape, or form or scenario that you can dream up in your mind, do you need to quickly detach a suppressor? Tell me. You can't think of one. Not a one.
Not off the top of my head. Someone in the comments will.
Yeah.
That had 20 minutes to think about that question. I got nothing though.
And that's what I told Bobby, and he's like, I've asked all the cool guys that we work with, give me a scenario. One where you need to quick detach your suppressor.
Nothing
And
coming to mind.
nothing. He's like, no. He's like, tell me. And Bobby, you know, he gets a little amped up. He's like, tell me. Go ahead, fucking tell me. And he's getting a little heated. And I'm like, well, Bobby. Like, hey, we're good. But he says it should be switched to quick attach.
Yeah.
Because in a oh shit scenario, say you're a SWAT cop.
Yeah.
You got to go take a shot. Let's throw this can on. Quick attach, right?
Yeah, sure.
So that is potentially an argument for this, right? Hey, in an oh shit scenario, I need to quickly attach this so I can go do some work.
How much longer does it take to thread on a can?
1.5 seconds. And the reason why I know this is I asked him that. And he said, generally, with the coolest guys of the cool, we ran this test. Hey, direct thread one, QD one, timer. Takes about 1.5 seconds quicker. So what he did is change the thread pitch in here to shave that 1.5 seconds.
No way.
So whether it's QD or direct thread, it is the same time.
Isn't
that
that's
cool?
cool?
Dude.
That's cool.
I was on the phone grinning ear to ear like, dude, this is just cool shit.
That's
you would
so
never know.
operator? That is so operator.
Right? And if I wrote all these notes down. Bobby, if I maybe screwed up a number there, or it's not exactly correct, just go with me on this. But I wrote the notes down. This is what I have.
I love that. That one's cool.
Kind of cool. So let's see here. Another thing with quick detach that he has an issue with is, and again, he's starting to get a little amped now. He's like, go ahead and dump 2 mags through a quick detach suppressor.
Quickly detach it.
Grab that bitch and take it off. Come on. He's like, come on, take it off. Get your hand on there and take it off. You're not going to.
No.
You're not going to. And I was like, Bobby, don't yell at me, man.
No
hey,
shot.
We're good. And he's like, you're not going to quick detach it.
No.
You're going to let it cool down, and then you're going to take it off.
Yeah,
So
100%.
again, it should be quick attach system, not quick detach system.
Sure.
And Bobby, I'm with you on that. We can start a campaign for that. So.
That's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt.
Yeah. Another one. That is, huh?
It
Bobby.
needs to be a t-shirt. You guys make that. I'll buy one.
Dude, I'll buy 2. So now we're going to get into an argument that I hear all the time working in gun stores. Well, what if I want to shoot my rifle without the can on it?
That would be the next logical argument.
Go ahead, argue it for me.
I mean, that's it. Like, well, what if I go, I don't want to dirty up my gun. I don't want the wear and tear. I just want to shoot it with the brake on, you know?
I said that to
Now
Bobby.
I take this off and it's got bare ass threads. Like,
I said that to Bobby and he's like, you're going to sit here and tell me you paid $999 for the can, a $200 tax stamp, and waited 6 to 9 months to not shoot your fucking can? And I'm like, Bobby, stop yelling at me, man. He's like, I'm sorry, there is no argument for this. He's like, you're going to sit here and tell me you went through the whole hassle of getting an NFA item to not use it?
yeah.
I don't know anyone. That is an argument. I don't know anyone that's like, today I'm going to shoot unsuppressed. When you get that suppressor, all you want to do is shoot it.
So in all fairness, if I personalize it to that argument, I go,
Bobby's
okay.
going to kick your ass right now.
Well, I think I'm probably going to be on the side here because I've got a handful of cans and I have, so find the last 1911 Syndicate video where we're running a rifle without a can on it. I bet you're going to be scrolling for a minute.
I'll tell you when it was. March of 20, no, sorry. Is that right? Not 2020.
It would have 2021.
When I was running
imagine.
my BCM spring of, was it 2019? No, it can't be that long. It's been over a year and a half. It was the last time I shot without a suppressor.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
So again, Bobby, a point in Bobby's thing, and case for direct thread.
Okay.
Like you're waited 9 months to not shoot your can, you're a fucking idiot.
Okay.
I was like, true, Bobby. So let's keep going down here. An argument with, for QD, is the potential for carbon lock on this compared to that. Because the argument would be QD will not carbon lock because of the ratcheting system with the chemo than this.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of there's a lot of QD systems that we all know will carbon lock.
Let's just use this for an example. So your carbon locking is, the chance of it is going to go up with this because again, we have threads on threads on threads on threads on threads.
Okay.
This, with the way he machined those threads, it will tighten down a little bit tighter due to the way those threads are made. You only need 11 to 20% more torque to take it off regardless. Because if you think of the way threads sit, it's not going to allow for a lot of dirt and debris to get in there as long as they're done right. But with this, I'm betting that all 5 threads are machined perfectly so that doesn't happen.
Okay.
So there's another argument.
Okay.
Right? Carbon lock, which is it going to happen, is it not, right?
It happens. I've had it happen. Not on chemo in Full disclosure there on other things I have.
Another thing for direct thread is cost. So we need to get a chemo for this. That's anywhere from $250 to $280.
Yeah, $250-ish.
You need a muzzle device. How much is a muzzle device?
$90 to $100.
Okay, so we're at another $300 to $350 potentially.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Which, how much is a tack stamp?
$200.
Okay. So if we direct thread a can, we don't need a muzzle device. We can take that $350 for a tack stamp. You're saving $100.
Got $150.
So I don't know about you.
Good bottle of bourbon.
It's a good bottle of bourbon, right? So another, I'm going to put it in the con list of direct threading, or sorry, I'm mixed up now. Another con to QD is the springs and the washers and all the stuff that you need to use QD.
Wear out.
Well, put it this way. He got even deeper into it. He's like, not only do they wear out, you're going to scrunch all those springs down or whatever detent system there is in there, heat this up super hot, and then let it cool down again. What's happening to that spring every time you heat it up and cool it down, heat it up and cool it down?
Contracting, expanding, I would assume?
No, yes, but it's losing that spring, right? So it's another part that over time you're going to have to replace and change out. And he's like, that's one of the biggest reasons he's not a fan is like it's purposely made basically to start switching out parts over time because you got to switch all those springs. We've had dead air cans where we got to switch out those little.
Yeah, there's like little, I don't know if it's washers or springs or whatever it is, but something back there. That,
over time.
Yeah, they lose some of that click and you just got to swap. It's not hard, but yeah, you got to swap something out.
But it's an added expense and or time and or sending the can back to the manufacturer.
Sure,
right?
Yeah, that's fair.
And then one of the last things that I found super fascinating was under QD, and this is an argument kind of against it, I think. A big argument for me is when you have QD, you have a muzzle device under there, right? Whether it's flash hider or brake. He's like, flash hiders are absolutely terrible for cans because those tines act like almost a water jet. He's like, if you shoot like 20K through a can with a flash hider, cut open the can, you're gonna see dimples in line with those tines on all the baffles. Not blown through, but the pressure shoots down the tines like a water jet and will damage the can.
Huh.
A brake will start to, after a lot of rounds, expand the sidewalls of the can and could potentially blow out the side.
Huh, okay.
He said, I will wager to bet you put 20K through this, 20K through this, we cut them in half, you will see minimal damage to anything inside the can with direct thread as opposed to QD.
Interesting.
So those are kind of the main points that I had for this.
Yeah, it's actually fascinating.
Yeah, and at the beginning of this, I was like, I'm still gonna be a QD fan. I am quick, I am changed. 100%, I am probably gonna start direct threading almost all my cans.
You know, it's interesting because when we did the sling series,
yeah,
we both went into that going like, you know, QDs is the only type of sling that you should ever be fucking with. And over time, we both started to migrate more towards snap hooks because of Sly Tactical and some of the arguments that they've sort of presented us to that. And, you know, I think for a lot of us, we wind up in our little corner of, because I've done it this way, that's the correct way. And first of all, there's no right or wrong way, it's just different ways. But it's like we wind up in our little team, even though you might not have thought about the counter arguments, you know?
Or heard it.
Yeah, or yeah, there's not a lot of places to even, I've never heard some of this shit. I'm like, that's fascinating.
So that's, I mean, you know, there is some arguments, I guess, like, I guess at the end of the day, much like we always say, we're playing dress up in the desert. Is it really that important for us? Okay, I could have an argument either way for that. If I were an end user that did actual cool shit, direct thread all day. I'm not, but he has made such a case for direct thread, I am going to start direct threading.
We do have high round counts though, you know?
So that
not relative to, you know, a SWAT guy or some shit, but it's like, you get high suppressed round counts compared to the average human being.
I mean, on this gun right here, since I've got it, we've had 2,000 rounds, 1/10 of potential damage in several months, man.
Yeah.
We go into next year, I keep running this rifle, this gun might be at 10K by the end of next year.
Sure.
Who knows, right? But I think, for me, I really do enjoy the idea of direct thread now. I was kind of a hater against it. It was like, you know, this will be a fun video to do. I don't know if it's gonna really sway me. Fully admit I have been swayed. And again, I enjoy doing reviews where it does sway me. Where I'm in one team and then I get all the information. I'm like, you know what? Direct thread just makes more sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It is tough because then you start adding, like, I got 5 rifles, 5 cans of direct thread. I get it. But with all the arguments that I just put up, I think there is a better.
There's
I think
at least
there's
enough
more
food for thought there to
Yeah.
at least perk your spidey senses and go, okay.
Yeah.
Whether I switch or not, I don't know, but you go, they're valid points though.
I think so.
Yeah.
And again, think of the added cost. So if I have 5 guns and I need to outfit all for QD, all 5, I'm spending over $1,000 just in attachments to attach it,
Yeah, probably about 1,500, yeah.
right? Where if I just have 5 rifles that all are direct threaded, I buy 1 can and can reliably know the point of aim, point of impact, and all those other things are going to be significantly smaller than a QD. So
Very cool.
kind of cool. Did you learn something today?
I did. I did. Fascinating.
Yeah, so thank you again to CGS and the guys over there, especially Bobby. They have been, I mean, I don't know why they're so good to us. I really don't. I thoroughly appreciate their support and like overall generosity for helping us out.
Yeah, I'm fans of those guys, and you know, that's all there is to that.
That's all there is to it. So thank you again, CGS, Arizona Gunlord, all you guys. Thanks for the support. Thank you guys for watching. And get in the comments and kind of give maybe some arguments of what you think pros and cons of either.
Yeah.
And we'll jump in there and mix it up with you guys. But if you come at me with anything I covered, like, well, I want to switch it to my other guns. That's the argument, Chris.
Yeah, it's in the video.
Rewind about 10 minutes. There's your fucking answer. So have a good day. Pachoo!